And I can hear Crystal repeating what I said to her. She's like, there's heavy rain coming and we need to be there 10 minutes early. And as soon as she said that, I hear Em in the background just screaming, like, I don't know what she's saying, but she's like just giving out orders. All right, so we just got married.
Hence the shirts.
So I guess starting off on, what do we want to start on? Thursday?
Thursday, yeah.
So
We drove to Madison, packed up and drove to Madison.
yep, threw pretty much our entire duplex into our car and drove to Madison, and then got checked into the Hilton at Monona Terrace, and started pretty much just getting the decorations down to the loading dock. We had an adventure going down the service elevator and trying to find our way around there.
And then we just kind of hung out. Our wedding party and family came slowly.
Yeah.
And we hung out with them in the lobby. And then everyone got checked into their hotels, and then we went to the rehearsal.
Yeah, the rehearsal started off with a meeting with Scott. We had to figure out what we wanted to do for our vows. He had a book of different vows that we could choose from, and we just chose the most simple
Not
one,
the vows, the script.
or script for him. And then we let him know that we'd be doing our own vows, and that was pretty much it. We went and then did the rehearsal.
And that we had to do a few times
Yeah.
to make sure everyone was on the same page.
Yep. Had to make sure everybody knew what square to stop on
And what pace to
pause.
walk at.
Yeah, and what pace to walk at. We didn't even look at the rain backup venue.
Nope.
So
We were that confident.
yeah, we knew it wouldn't rain. So we
And
we then walked through the reception area, practiced the grand march a little bit, and went back for the rehearsal dinner.
And everyone just kind of hung out. We got to talk a lot with our friends and family and gave them their gifts.
Yep, gave them their gifts, and then started to eat. Had the dinner. We had these steaks, I think, and then we started drinking.
Yep. Yep. Everyone started drinking, and me and most of the bridesmaids went up to the room at like 10 because we all had to shower, and we had to get up at 7, so we wanted to be well rested. And the guys and a couple of the girls stayed downstairs.
Yeah, and we started arm wrestling.
Yeah.
People were arm wrestling my sister. It was a good time. We successfully drank them out of vodka and IPAs. Garrett and Caleb, they drank, I think, 10 to 12 Moscow mules between the two of them, and that's why we ran out of vodka.
No, I'm pretty sure it was each.
Yeah.
They each.
They each drank it. And then Brooke and Dean were drinking IPAs, and they completely drank them out of beer. I think there was probably a 24-pack down there of beer that they drank between the two of them.
Yep.
So, yeah.
Yeah. And then for me, while they were all doing that, hanging out, me, Sydney, and Haley all got showered and then sat on the couch in the bridal suite and just talked while Shivangi had been asleep for like 2 hours at that point. And the rest of the girls stayed downstairs.
Yep.
And then at midnight, it closed.
Yeah, at midnight, they shut it down. And the guys, Colton had this really good idea to go to the terrace. And I was so tired, and I didn't want to be completely looking dead for the wedding the next
pictures,
day.
Yeah.
So I went back up to the hotel room.
While Jeff, Nick, and Scott had a very fun adventure too.
They tried dragging me out of the elevator to go with them downtown. Because they wanted to keep drinking, apparently.
And they did. They went downtown, but Jake did not.
Yeah, and meanwhile, my friends were on the terrace because again, Colton wanted to go up there, and they started crawling over a gate because it was locked. And the guy down in the control center got on the loudspeaker and said, "Get off the terrace." And apparently it scared the crap out of Colton, and they all took off running back into the hotel room, or into the hotel.
Into the bridal suite.
Yeah, they came up into the bridal suite.
They did. And then we kicked them out. We kicked the boys out. And then the rest of us girls, except for Bonnie and Brittany, we stayed up until like 1:30 talking, and every 10 minutes we were like, we need to go to bed, and then we get into like 10 more conversations. And then we all went to bed. I was up all night because I was really anxious.
Yeah, and Nick, Jeff, and Scott, they got back at 2 a.m. And got kicked out of several bars apparently.
Yes.
Yeah, I went to bed pretty much at 12:30. I was exhausted.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was the end of our Thursday.
Yeah.
So Friday,
wedding day,
the day we got married, I woke up alone and she woke up alone.
Mm-hmm.
So we were in our own rooms.
Yeah.
We both had presidential suites.
Mm-hmm.
And she immediately started getting ready, right?
Yeah. Like I said, I was up all night, but hair and makeup started at 8. So all of the girls plus both of our moms were there, and we had breakfast delivered. We had mimosas. We were all just hanging out and getting ready.
Yeah, and meanwhile, I woke up at 5:30 because I didn't draw the shades because Amy wasn't there to tell me to draw the shades. So I woke up with the sun and pretty much just waited around and hung out in my room until 7 when breakfast was starting to get served. I didn't feel the greatest that morning, not because I drank a lot, just because there's something to do with that wine. I only drank probably 3 or 4 glasses of wine, and
small glasses too.
Yeah, and it just didn't make me feel good the next morning.
Yeah.
I was super hydrated as well, so I don't know.
And you ate a lot.
Yeah, and it could have been anxiety, but I don't know. So I went downstairs at 7 and right away, and I got some breakfast and pretty much talked to people as they came down, and heard stories from Dean that he was up throwing up from the night before. I don't think Colton and Garrett were doing well, but they at least kept things down. And everybody was pretty much just in recovery mode the next morning. We were just
all the guys. Guys.
I looked around the table at breakfast and it was just a bunch of dead faces. Like, I was like, oh boy. And I was talking to them. I'm like, I feel super anxious. Like my stomach is not good. I don't know what to do. I'm like, I don't know. I don't want to be like dead for the ceremony. Like, do I need to like drink caffeine? And they're offering to go get me Monster and stuff. And I'm like, I don't think that's a good idea. And I just kept drinking water, hoping I'd start feeling better.
And you did eventually.
Yeah.
Well, the anxiety didn't go away for a while, but
I didn't feel better till really things got rolling. So at lunchtime, I still wasn't feeling very well. I ate some pasta, thinking like some carbs would maybe calm my stomach down. It really didn't help. I just had a nervous stomach pretty much until things started to really get rolling. And I was like running around crazy.
For me, I did not eat breakfast. I tried, but the grapes I ate had seeds in them, and I didn't like it. I've never had that. So I didn't eat breakfast, and I did eat lunch. The girls brought me up pasta, and I ate quite a bit. I wasn't really nervous at that point. I was trying not to think about it. The photographer showed up at 12:30, and they started taking pictures of us girls in our matching robes. And then once I got into my dress, we went down to the rooftop and took just pictures of us girls. And honestly, my biggest anxiety at that point was, how do I walk down the aisle without tripping on my dress? And after that, we went back up to the room for the guys to go down to the terrace to take pictures. Meanwhile, all my friends left the room, the bridal suite. I was all by myself just for like 10 minutes, and it kicked in that like the ceremony was 1 hour away, and I was freaking out. That's when it like really felt real. And then everyone came back and they were just calming me down when Jake called Crystal.
Yeah. So leading up to that, about 1 o'clock, me and my dad went down to the service dock, or the loading dock, and grabbed the arch, brought it up to the terrace, and put it where it was supposed to be for the ceremony. And meanwhile, it was like sprinkling and starting to rain on and off, but the weather forecast said that there'd be a window. It would stop raining about 2 o'clock, and then it would start raining again at 7. So I got the rain call from Marcia. She's like, yep, should be good to go. Rain forecast looks good. There should be a good window for us. What do you think? And I was like, yeah, let's go for it. I don't want to go inside. We got this beautiful area up top, and I really didn't like the rain delay or the rain backup place. So I was like, yeah, let's go for it. So yeah, we got things set up on the rooftop, and then I realized the photographer was going to be there at 2 o'clock. So I like ran back to the room. I cut myself a couple times with my razor trying to get my toiletries out, and I was like starting to freak out. I quick showered and got ready. I was really nervous about having enough time to tie my bow tie, because last time I practiced a couple times at home, and the first time it took me like an hour. Second time practicing, it took me like a half hour. So I'm like, okay, it'll probably take me a half hour. And it took me about 20 minutes to get that thing tied. And the photographer was like taking pictures of me while I was tying my tie. And I was trying to watch this YouTube video, and I was super nervous because I had an audience. And he was like sitting there, and he's like, you know what, I'll let you focus. And he walked out, and I think that's when they were taking pictures of her. Yeah. And yeah, so I got ready. I finally got the tie tied. And by then it was about 2 o'clock. The groomsmen started kind of rolling into my room, waiting for the photographer to come take pictures of us. And we kind of hung out for about half hour, 45 minutes, waiting for the photographer to come up. And as soon as he got up, we took like 1 or 2 pictures in the room and went straight down to the terrace. Took a bunch of pictures on the terrace with the groomsmen. We had some fun pictures. Some of them were pretty funny. I'm pretty excited to see those. And so yeah, by then we didn't really have much time to go back to the terrace to freshen up or anything like that. We stayed down there, and guests started coming. It was about 4:30.
3:30.
Or yeah, 3:30. And all of a sudden my mom walks up to me with her phone, and she shows me the radar, and it's just like thunderstorm is coming. Like rain is gonna hit us in like 15-20 minutes. Like it was supposed to hit us right at 4 o'clock, really, really hard. And I'm like, I immediately started panicking. Like I was freaking out. I went over to the security guard. I'm like, get Marcia up here like right now. And so she came up, and I'm like, what do we do? And I'm like, there's supposed to be rain that's gonna hit us hard. And meanwhile, like people are coming up to me and saying like, you need to use the rain backup, like don't make people sit in the rain, and like stuff like this. And I'm like, oh my God. And Marcia's like, well, we could do like a rain delay, and that would throw everything off for the rest of the night. And yeah, it was so stressful. And Chris walked up to me, the photographer, and he's like, well, it'd just be so perfect if we could like squeeze it in right before the rain gets here. And I'm like, yeah, that's what I want to do. And I immediately was like, Marcia, we're doing this 10 minutes early. And she's like, okay, do you want me to move the bar and hors d'oeuvres downstairs? I'm like, yep. And making those decisions, I wanted to call Emmy so bad. I was like, these type of decisions I normally always make with you, and I always like bounce things off of her. And I just kept telling myself, I'm like, I can't call her. And meanwhile, like guests are starting to come in while this is all happening, and they're like, hi Jake. They're super happy. They have no idea they're about to get drenched. And I'm like freaking out, trying to hold back tears as I'm running around telling all the vendors, hey, we're doing this 10 minutes early. I called Crystal, and I'm like, hey, get down here. We're doing the ceremony 10 minutes early. Like, you need to calm down.
Yeah.
And I can hear Crystal repeating what I said to her. She's like, there's heavy rain coming and we need to be there 10 minutes early. And as soon as she said that, I hear Em in the background just screaming, like, I don't know what she's saying, but she's like just giving out orders to get her ready. And
Probably.
at that point, Scott wasn't there yet. And I'm like, we need an officiant, like, oh my God. And I see him walking in, like my parents were calling Scott and he was like 7 minutes out as I was on the phone with Crystal. And as I'm walking, like pacing around, I see Scott roll in and I'm like, okay, we're doing this 10 minutes early, like get up there. He gets up there, and guests are still coming in. They're just like all over the place. They're talking to each other. They haven't seen each other in a while, which is great and all, but like I'm freaking out and I'm like, you guys need to sit down. And anyway, I'm like, okay, they'll sit down as soon as we start walking. It'll be all fine. So I walk over to the ramp that we all line up on. And I get everybody all lined up. By then the bridesmaids were down there. It was all good. I had the groomsmen. They were sitting just waiting for me. And as I was walking over the ramp, I was just like holding back tears because I was just so upset at how things were going. And I get everybody lined up and my mom's like, is your bride here? And I'm like, I don't know. If she's not here, I'm getting married to myself.
I was on my way. There was a lot going on in the lobby.
And so me and my mom, we're just like, okay, we're just gonna start walking. And as soon as we started walking, the DJ was paying attention. He turned the music on. And I'm like, okay, people are gonna see us walking and they're gonna sit down, right? No. None of them sat down. My mom looked at me and she's like, well, none of them are sitting down. And I'm like, it's fine. They'll see us. They'll sit down. So we line up and we lined up in plain sight in front of everybody and we stood there. All right, so 15 seconds, we're standing there and nobody's still sitting down. So me and my mom, we round the corner and I'm just bawling, walking all the way up the aisle. And I'm sitting, I get up there, I look at Scott, he kind of gives me a look like, man, you're crying. And and I turn around and I start seeing people continue to walk down the aisle. And meanwhile, I look over and there's nobody in the front row on M's side. And I'm like, this is a problem. There's like critical people here missing. And I'm like, I don't know. I'm still crying. I have no idea. Like, I have so many emotions going through me. And the groomsmen and bridesmaids start filing down, and they did really good. They paused for the picture at the right spot, and they walked nice and slow. And I think it got to about Evan right before he walked down, and all of a sudden, M's grandma just comes running across the front of the ceremony, and really loudly, she goes to Nick, she's like, where do I sit? And Nick's just like, right here. and then Eli lines up and he's almost gonna start walking, and I'm still just bawling my eyes out. And I just see Glenn just go zooming across the back of the aisle, trying to get to his spot. And I'm like, oh my God. And by then, I saw Eli round the corner with a sign that said, here she comes. And I'm like, I just was sobbing, like I was crying. And then Em walked in.
So when Jake called Crystal, none of the girls, we didn't have our shoes on. We were all just chilling on the couch, and it was like 3:30 or so, and like we had a plan that the girls were gonna leave about 10 minutes before my mom and I did, and I had just finally calmed down. Well, then we get the call and everybody jumps up. I'm freaking out, and we all put our shoes on quick, and the bridesmaids run out. My mom had to give me a little pep talk, like it's gonna be okay, like whatever. So we go down to
what
the
did you
lobby.
think when you heard that there was heavy rain coming?
I honestly didn't even have time to think about it. I was just like, I gotta get down there, and I gotta get down there now. And so then we get to the lobby, and some of our family friends are walking like through the hotel to the terrace, and so I'm like, oh no, and so I jump into a corner hiding from them. Well, then all of a sudden I hear my grandma's voice coming from the hotel lobby. And I'm like, Mom, Grandma's over there. So my mom marches over and gets my grandma, sends her down to the terrace, or up to the terrace, as I'm hiding in a corner by the bathrooms in the hotel. We let her get all the way down the skywalk to get over to the terrace, and then we start going. And in my mind, I'm like, Jake's gonna kill me, I'm late, and the rain's coming. That's when I started freaking out about the rain. Because I would have been down there like 7 minutes earlier. But anyways, I go up to where I can see Jake, but I know Jake can't see me unless he would to turn around, but he didn't. And then my mom and I were walking up to like where the aisle starts, and the rain started. I was like, oh no. And
it was just really light though.
It was, but I knew that was like the beginning.
Just barely misting.
Yeah, no, it wasn't that bad. And I walked down the aisle, and like all of my anxiety just suddenly was gone. Like I was super calm. As soon as I saw Jake, I was like, yep, this is like everything's fine. Still was worried about tripping over my dress, but my mom had me. And at that point I had been walking around and pacing the room and stuff. And I see Jake, and he's crying, and I'm like, oh no. He's usually the strong one, and so I was trying to hold it in, but like it was really hard to. I was just smiling the whole way down, and he looked so handsome, and my heart dropped when I got up there, because I was like, whoa, like this is real. And then pretty much right after I got there, it started pretty heavily raining, right?
Right. So when I saw Em for the first time, I was like, oh my god. She is so gorgeous. Like, wow. She had such a beautiful dress. It was unreal. And I didn't have any expectations going into it, and I just was blown away. And yeah, I was crying the entire time she was walking down the aisle. She got up there, and Scott kind of started the ceremony, and
he tried to hurry up.
And pretty much it started raining pretty hard. And so Chris, the photographer, before the ceremony, he's like, hey, we've got some umbrellas, so let me know if you guys want them. Just give me a look. And he had the umbrellas in his hand, right then. He was taking pictures still, but he had the umbrellas with him, and I looked at him, I'm like, yeah, bring the umbrellas. And so Garrett and Crystal, they were both holding up the umbrellas behind us, and Scott was just standing in the rain getting drenched.
Yeah.
And we looked out, and the entire crowd then they were finally seated, and
yeah, everybody was sitting,
and they were all drenched.
Yep.
And yeah, it was mass chaos in the beginning because nobody was sitting, and then it was mass chaos because it was raining.
Yeah.
But Scott started the ceremony. He started going through the script, and it was great. We read our vows, and
which were oddly similar, which was so funny.
How my mind completely shut off when I tried to stumble through my proposal, not along a million miles away from home. Luckily, you were absolutely overwhelmed and still said yes when I got down on one knee. I don't know how stars aligned and we were able to find each other, but I'm so incredibly blessed that we did. I look so fondly back to our first date at First and Main back in View. I will always remember thinking to myself as you got out of your yellow Pontiac Sunfire and your yellow striped shirt. Oh boy, she's about to change my life. I absolutely cannot wait for our life together. With our combined families supporting us, there is no doubt in my mind that our lives will be full of laughter, love, and happiness. I truly love you so much, Emily. I promise to take care of you through the low times and high times. I promise you that I won't take our relationship for granted, and I promise I will give you the attention that it needs to be forever. I promise to always be loyal and forgiving. I promise to finish our arguments with a long embrace and an honest effort to be better. I promise to be there for you whenever you need me, and I promise to protect you whenever you feel uncertain, and I promise to encourage you and support you in accomplishing your dreams. But most of all, Emily, I promise to always be your player one, as long as you always promise to be my player two.
Oh my God.
Jake, I feel like the luckiest woman in the world to be standing with you here with you today. I can't see this, but okay. Many say love at first sight is not real, but the moment I saw you, I knew you were the one. For our first date, we went out to lunch between my two work shifts. If the date wasn't going well, my plan was to tell you that I had to leave for work, pretend because my shift started earlier than it actually did. That day was the one and only time I was late to work because I just couldn't get enough of you. The love I have for you is unconditional and gets stronger every single day.
Oh, I
As your
know.
wife,
Oh my
I
God.
promise to love and respect you for the strong and confident man that you are. I vow to work through anything this crazy life throws at us with you by my side. I promise to pretend I'm not afraid of spiders so you never have to face your fear. You make me smile more than I've ever smiled before. I promise to make you smile as much as you make me smile, even if that means I have to play more video games with you. We both know how hard decisions can be for me, but it has never been easier for me to decide to say yes to you 2 years ago and for me to say I do today. As we continue our lives together, I promise to never fall asleep without saying I love you, to never stop exploring this world with you, and to always do what's best for our family. It is impossible for me to put into words how much I love you, but I promise to show it through my actions each and every day. Not only do you make life more fun, but you challenge me and complete me in ways I never knew were possible. Jake Jeffrey, you are the most kind, loving, genuine, and faithful man, and I am honored to be your wife. My heart is entirely yours, Jake. I love you with every ounce I have in me. I'm ready to take on life with you, and I will always be your player too. I'm ready, player one.
Yeah,
But
we both had the same ending tagline.
Yeah, and that made us emotional.
Yeah.
But it was perfect.
And it was just pouring down rain, and we heard from a couple people in the crowd talking to them afterwards that they were just so captivated by it because it was just so dramatic. And yeah, we said I do, and we kissed, and we ran out, and the crowd cheered, and it was awesome. Yeah, it was awesome. And we ran inside, and that's pretty much the entire ceremony. Like,
Yeah, it was maybe like what, 10 minutes you'd say?
mm-hmm. Yeah, it
wasn't very
pretty
long.
quick. Yeah. At one point I looked at Scott and I'm like, you can skip some parts, like just because it was raining so hard.
So hard.
Yeah.
Everybody ran inside, and the original plan was that everyone was gonna stay on the rooftop, and honestly, Jake and I had zero plans of what was gonna happen inside when, like, you know, with the rain. And we didn't even stress about it. Like, all of our family and friends just made themselves at home and like followed everything, and like it just went perfectly.
Yeah, we didn't know where the photographers at first were. And
No.
we're like looking around, and
Yeah.
we eventually found them, and they're like, so where do you want to take pictures? And we're like, let's go down to the community terrace. And Marcio was right there, so we're just like, can we go in there? And she's like, yep, I'll have somebody unlock it.
Yep.
And she
Yep,
got it
that's
unlocked
great.
for us. And yeah, so we went down there and took some formal family photos.
Yep. So while we were waiting for everyone, because like all the girls ran back to the hotel room to like freshen up, and then the guys, I think they like just tried to dry off a little bit. So
Yeah, they apparently all used hair dryers on themselves to blow dry themselves, and then
Yeah.
I don't know what the girls did, but they did an amazing job freshening up.
They did. They came down looking great.
It
And-
went from just drenched, makeup running, everything, to looking pretty similar to they did before.
Yeah, they did. And then while we were waiting for them, we just took a few pictures, just just you and I.
Yeah.
And then by the time we were ready for the wedding party photos, the rain had stopped. And so we went out to the rooftop and took pictures with the wedding party, and that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we had a lot of fun. The photographers were great. They made us do different poses and all this fun stuff. So
yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then when we were done with those photos, the wedding party went back down, and I think they all just went to the bar. And then we got our pictures, and we did a couple different locations on the rooftop.
Yep.
And we're super excited to get them back.
Yeah.
The photographers are awesome, and I think that they're all gonna look great.
Yeah. So we went down. It was about 5:59.
Yep.
The Grand March was supposed to be at 6, so we went in. The DJ's like, "Hey, I briefed everybody on the Grand March. Let's go, get in line." And we all got in line and did the Grand March. It was a ton of fun.
Yeah, it was. Everybody like did their own dance, or like different handshake. Colton and Haley chugged a beer.
Yeah.
It was a lot of fun. We got to watch it all, and then we walked in and everybody was cheering for us, and then we went and sat at the sweetheart table.
Yep, we got up there. Marcia told us that salads had already been served and we needed to eat our salad and then go get our food. The DJ went through the COVID protocol, and that was abruptly ignored. And we then proceeded to quick wolfed on our salad, and we went and got some
Our
food.
Yep.
Yeah. We had the chicken marsala and
Some vegetables.
some vegetables
And
then
potatoes.
yeah, the other choice was
A beef roast.
beef
Which we
roast.
heard was good.
Yeah. So
And then while everybody was eating, we got up and thanked everybody.
yeah, we did the toast. Garrett gave a toast, the best man toast.
Yep. And then Crystal
Yep, Crystal.
maid of honor toast. And then my mom got up and gave a speech that made me cry a lot.
Yeah, it was a really good speech.
Oh, and to let the tables go to get their food, to release them, we did a trivia of us, and that was fun. People were getting very competitive.
Yeah, I was like, you know what? This trivia thing might have been a bad idea
Everyone was getting angry.
when you have two really competitive families.
Yeah, but it was kind of funny.
It
hearing
was.
people like the ones that were super competent and new, and then after the toasts, we did
The cake cutting.
Yeah, we went over and did the cake cutting, which was fun. We did it twice.
Yeah, so we did it once, and then the photographer's like, you guys gotta do that again. So we fed each other the cake again for the picture.
And it went well.
Yeah.
And then
It was fun.
Yeah.
And then we went back and we played the shoe game.
we did we ran around all the tables.
Oh, okay, yeah. We did the photo bomb game,
Yeah.
where we had to run around to all 28 tables before the song "Blinded by the Light" ended.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, we picked
Everybody
that
was-
song, and yeah, it was so fun.
We thought it was fitting, and everybody was like ready at their tables for us, so we just like came in and they got a picture. That way, we got a picture of every single person there.
Yeah.
So that was awesome.
I'm pretty sure that some of the initial photos, when I still had my bow tie on, I'm literally like looking like I'm about to throw up because I was getting choked. Like my shirt, I think, was a little too tight around the neck, and oh my. Yeah, in some of the photos, I was probably like.
We'll see when we get them back. And then we got up on the little platform that the table was on, our table was on, and did the shoe game where we sat back to back, and I had one of my shoes in one hand and one of his shoes in the other.
Yeah, and we got to
then
raise which one we thought. The DJ would ask us a question, and we'd raise which shoe.
Yeah, and so that was a lot of fun. And then after that, we did our first dance.
Yep, so we went into the ballroom and we had our first dance under the lights, and that was great. We literally just won the entire thing. Like
Yeah, we don't know how to dance.
Well, we know how to slow dance. It's just we wanted to make it, I don't know, slightly entertaining, I guess. So
Yeah.
we were twirling, and then
And you dipped me a couple times.
Yeah.
Our song was Blessed by Thomas Rhett.
Yep.
So that was fun. And then right after that, we had both of our moms come up for the mom dance
Yep.
to My Wish. And
Very
that was
fun.
the rest of us, yeah. And that was a lot of fun.
Yeah. And so that's when the party essentially started.
Yep.
We started dancing. Me and Em, we wanted to dance really bad, but we knew we had to get around to most of the guests before people started to leave.
Yeah.
So we pretty much, we tried really hard to go and talk to everybody. There's definitely some people that we missed that we talked about afterwards, and we were just like, ugh, man, we wish we would have got to talk to them, but it's okay. I mean, we tried our best. And and after we got done talking to everybody, we joined the rest of the wedding party, which held the dance floor down.
Yeah, they killed it on the dance floor. Most of them killed it on the dance floor all night.
Yeah.
And so that was a lot of fun. We danced with all of our friends and family all night.
Yeah, we literally danced until the end of the night. Yeah, until midnight. There was
so much fun.
There was a nacho bar and popcorn bar that got brought out about 10 o'clock. And
there were like a few songs that we had to sit out because our feet were hurting. Neither of us had our shoes on, so our feet were hurting.
Or we just got too sweaty.
And we were sweaty and we just needed a break. But for the most part, we were on the dance floor like all night. So yeah, it was so much fun.
Yeah. We give Colton and Sydney the Spirit Award.
Yes, they were like dragging people up on the dance floor. They did not leave the dance floor.
Yeah, they were
like,
just dancing the night away. Especially Sydney. I mean, she literally was up there the entire time.
Yeah, she said that she would like step away for like a second to chug her beer and then come back on the dance floor. She was the MVP, and Colton was just shuffling all over the dance floor all night.
The entire night. Yeah. We found out that Ethan was this just incredible dancer.
Yeah, he was slow dancing.
He would slow dance with himself. I mean, yeah.
Yeah, and all of our other wedding party was up there and making it a lot of fun. And all of our other friends too.
Yeah, they made dancing so much fun. It was great.
Yeah.
We were kind of worried that people might not dance, and we like dancing, but it was awesome.
Yeah.
We had the largest dance floor that Monona Terrace has, and it felt full the entire time. Like
it really did.
It was great. It was
awesome. And even the times that we would step off the dance floor to take a break, like we would be watching, and it was just so much fun to just watch our friends have fun too. While we took a second. So
yeah. And so midnight came, and they played the last song, and we pretty much just went over and got some of our things from the table and went back to the room. Yeah. The bar was open till 2 a.m. for any people that wanted to
hang out.
Yeah, keep going.
Apparently there was quite a few people there all night, so.
Yeah. We didn't have anybody crash our wedding. I mean, we did have 2 people
randomly walk through.
And they walked through and they looked really sus, but I mean, they didn't do anything. Me and Em saw them walk through our reception.
And I grabbed Lydia and was like, get them out of here. We don't know them.
And so they take off into the Grand Terrace after these 2. And I see Em and Lydia go into the Grand Terrace. And I just grabbed Caleb. He's like the strongest guy closest to me. And we went out there to back him up, and by then they had like ran out. I don't know if they saw us coming or what, but
I don't know. But then after that, Garrett was like on patrol, and he was just like pacing in and out of like all the doors, like going around. He had the area covered.
He had it on lock. Yeah.
He really did.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was such a fun night.
It was. One to remember.
All right. So Saturday, day after the wedding.
Yep. So we got up at
Husband and Wife Day.
Husband and Wife Day. We got up at 8 a.m. is when we set our alarm, and packed up the room basically, and went downstairs. We were there by 9, and most of our family and friends were there. Just a few people were missing, and we ate breakfast. We kind of mingled a little bit. As more of our family showed up, and then we started opening gifts.
Yeah, we got quite a few gifts, and we got so many cards. You know, we reduced our guest list down to 120, and we didn't know if we'd get many gifts at all, and we were honestly blown away with some of the generosity that our friends had.
We feel so grateful. So. That was a lot of fun, and just being there with our friends and family, opening up the gifts, and
by Saturday, it felt like we were all just living in this giant house because we were in the Liberty Room so much.
It honestly did, because we were all there together for 3
Yeah.
days, and it just like started to feel like home.
Yeah,
We
it
liked
was awesome. It was so great being there with all our friends and family.
It was, but it was time to come to an end. we had to pack up a lot of stuff.
Yep. Packed up our rooms and had to make sure we weren't forgetting anything because
some of his stuff was like in multiple rooms,
Yeah.
and then we had to run things over to Monona Terrace, and it was a lot, all
Yeah.
by noon.
and we were saying goodbye to everybody that was
Yeah.
still there, and
Yeah, and then we still got to spend some time with our family and friends as they were leaving. So that was really nice, and then
we started to get ready for the honeymoon.
Yeah, we finished packing everything up and said our goodbyes to both of our families, and we left.